Hi, Virgos. Welcome to this December reading. Can you believe we have made it to December? Whew! This year was such a fascinating year. I'm sure you will agree with me that it was fascinating. And I think as soon as I checked in with the Virgo energy, which I check in with all the time, having my Virgo moon there, it's such a way I move through the world. I realized there was a lot of information coming in and going out and coming in and going out, almost like waves, crashing on the shore over and over again. And, sometimes when you have years like that, where it's not so much about maybe catastrophic experiences, but it's a lot more about these waves of information, waves of emotion, waves of new ways of seeing things. Like every week, every month was a different perspective, a different way of moving through the world. You can get to the end of the year, get to December, get to this place where it feels like, okay, I should have this figured out. I should have it all requisitioned and sorted and put in place. And you might feel a little bit like you have questions, those lingering questions that you end up asking as you're laying in bed trying to fall asleep. Where are those lingering questions, right? And I did have like the strongest note for Virgos as I was going through the energy, and it was this. I was thinking about all those waves, all those experiences that maybe trickled in, teased you a little bit, popped back out, didn't really stick around for the full course of events, maybe, teased you and then disappeared or brought something in and then never showed up again. And here's what I have to say about that. You may be wondering what would have happened if that path had opened up for you. You may be wondering what would have happened if that experience had fully opened up for you and had manifested. But here's the thing. If you went all the way down that storyline, all the way down that experience, it means you would actually have to live it. And to actually have to have lived it would mean that you would either have to relearn a lesson that you already know, so you'd just be doing really boring review, like taking a class you already have mastered 3 times, or taking a class you really aren't interested in, isn't something that you want subject material on. And I tell you what, if you started living that path and started living that life, and I am pulling cards here, let's see what we have so far. Intuition, baby, all major arcana. Wow, Virgos. If you had lived that life, if you had gone down that path and spent that 2 or 3 years in that situation, in that scenario that you think you really want, I guarantee you that you'd be kind of pissed because you'd realize, oh my God, I already learned this lesson. I already know this information. This is just irritating. So you kind of have to have that trust of like, you don't need to have that entire life experience lesson in order for you to feel full and contented. And I know easier said than done, but I think that's a big part of December. Your ruling planet is retrograde. Ooh, 10 of Swords. Your ruling planet is retrograde at the beginning of the month, and it's actually going back into Scorpio, which is interesting. It's retrograding right back into Scorpio right at the beginning of the month. And then for 6 days, it's retro in Scorpio. Then it goes direct. But your ruling planet being retrograde in your 3rd house of communication, especially if you're Virgo rising, is really interesting. What that does for me, what I think about with that is like slow down, integrate, listen into that wisdom that's like, yeah, you don't want that lesson. Yeah, you don't want that life experience over and over again. Yeah, it's time to move into some new pathways, because that is what's going to be coming up with the end of the Mercury retrograde. Chariot. Boom. Sagittarius season is always so interesting for Virgos as well, because, it's a square to you. It's another mutable sign. It's the mutable fire sign. There's kind of this energy there of introspection as well, because that's 4th house energy, like your home family, actually, moon energy, hidden, secretive, internal space energy. So it's interesting because Sag season is so moving, it's so vibrant, it's so much about playfulness, but for you, it also heralds in a time of contemplation and thinking and preparation. So there's kind of that vibe as well there. And I think we're just, honestly, the post-shadow phase for the Venus retrograde goes all the way till December 19th. Mercury does go direct on the 6th, but there's a post-shadow phase there of a few weeks as well. And so December isn't supposed to be about having all the answers. This is one thing that's coming up again and again for me as I'm looking through people's energies and as I'm looking at the astrology. It's not very complicated astrology. Jupiter's in Sag, Saturn's in Capricorn, Pluto's in Capricorn. We have a lot of homey energies. Planets are comfortable right now. Neptune is still in Pisces. These things are happening. The retrograde season is closing up. We're getting to the solstice. We're heading into Cap season, which is really great for your Virgos with that 5th house heart energy. But this is not a time to, we have this Julian calendar. We have this solstice that's like, we have to figure this out. It's going to be 2019 and I haven't figured it out. And I think we've got to get away from that whole timeline, that whole like mythology of having that, and really just trust a little bit more in the present moment. You have a new moon on December 7th in your 4th house in Sagittarius. Very quiet, reflective moon in some ways. Obviously, I'll be doing the moon magic on that, but that's a time to, just new moons are such a great time to plant some seeds and take a breath. And then we have a full moon on December 22nd, like right after Capricorn season starts, 0° Cancer full moon. For you, that's 11th house, just thinking about the community and the people you want to have around you. There's a lot of energy about who do you want to have around you in your internal space and your external space. What do you really value? And that's where that note about, do you really want, and by the way, all this came out, and it's speaking directly, so much major arcana, 6 of 8 cards are major arcana, and the 2 that aren't major arcana, let go. Let it go. Stop carrying this weight, Virgos. I know you want to. I know you want to carry it with you. I know you want to do the right thing. You want to commit fully to figuring out what's going on, move forward in life, give your best, give your all to projects, to people, to past relationships, to all sorts of things. You want to solve the problem. You want to make it better. And I actually just, have a very, very good friend who's going through some of this, who's a Virgo, and we've been talking a lot, because we've both been kind of transitioning, and we'll just sit on the phone there talking about how we both just want to figure out what needs to be done and do it right. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk through this all, right? Because there's 2 ways to look at all of this energy, and there's 2 ways to go about life. One is to think about life as this puzzle, that you are this direct agent, you have to figure it out. And if you don't figure out, there's like some kind of timeline that's going to explode on you, and you are going to realize that you have been wrong this whole time if you're not constantly being vigilant. But all the energy here is directing me to a different way. And this is going to help you with this idea of you don't have to live out every single storyline to find out all the attention, because you don't want to take every class in the course book. You do not want to, Virgo. I know you guys are brilliant. I know you're curious, and I know you like to get in there and learn some things. You guys are hilarious. You're like truly the funniest, most wonderful people. But you don't want to take every single class. Just imagine a college course book and like looking at the entirety of that catalog. I guarantee you're not going to want to take all those classes, whatever your interests are, right? Okay. So first of all, you're starting with Magician, manifestation energy in December. The Magician, the Mercury, the messenger, your ruling energy is retrograde, right? But your ruling planet retrograde gives just as much information as when it's moving forward. In fact, it's more potent, I think, in retrograde, because it gives everybody a chance to just sit and listen rather than acting and scrambling around and trying to find things. But what are you listening in for? What are you listening in to manifest? Because the Magician also asks you to manifest beyond what you've experienced in the past. The Magician also asks you to think in new ways. Use your mind in new ways. Use your mind in a way that's valuing your soul, that's serving your soul. And that's where this is where this water energy comes in, because we have the moon and the high priestess here. And water works so different from the mercurial earthy energy of Virgo, right? You guys are very, you want to get in there and make things happen. You want to get in there and find solutions. You want to get in there and research and catalog and engage with it and come up with ideas and move with it. And this moon and high priestess energy is like, oh, you're not going to be getting answers that way. Like if you have something that you're like I said, if you experience something this year that really has you're still trying to figure out what that meant, what that was for you in the journey, what that did for you, and why it had to come in at all, or why it had to leave at all, or why it had to be the way it had to be. You're still working through that. And the moon and the high priestess are doing a couple things. One, they're saying the solution, the answer is very simple, and you already know it, right? You already know why. You already know why it came or why it left. You already know why things re-scrambled or were swept away. You already know why. You just don't want to listen to it because you want to be the active agent all the time. But the moon and the high priestess are like, they are going to take that active agent feeling away from you, and they're going to put you as an active agent in a much more energetic frame of mind, right? Because this is about healing old wounds. But it's also about listening to your soul, to source, and the wisdom is very simple. And the wisdom that I get for you guys is that wasn't serving you. It was not serving you, and you know it. And if you're really being honest with yourself, the things that have left your life this year, if you look back over the notes on your phone or your journals, or like those days that you were feeling really frustrated, really icky, really lonely, really uncertain, kind of feeling that pit at the bottom of your stomach, those were days when you realized whatever this was you were holding on to, it didn't make you feel good. Even though you're addicted to fixing it and keeping it and making it work, it wasn't making you feel good. So you already know this information. It's there with you. And yes, the beginning of December, it may be that kind of uncomfortable thing of like, oof, I know this. I know this. I don't want to know this. I want to be thinking about other things. But that's where the Ten of Swords comes in, right? Some people like to get all in on the Ten of Swords and say this is a betrayal card, this is a backstabbing card, this is a card where you can't trust anybody and everybody's out to get you. This is a card of death of a storyline, death of the analytical mind. It's pretty brutal, right? And we sometimes have to learn lessons via agents coming in and really burning the hell out of us. If you're not willing to listen to this quiet energy here the first time around, the wisdom that's so simple and so crisp and clear and forward and direct and simple, very, very, very simple, one sentence, two sentence wisdom, you can put it away. It's not even a murder mystery. It's not a mystery at all. It's a poem. It's a haiku. That's wisdom. We don't listen the first time. We do sometimes get into situations where we feel burned, where we feel exhausted, where we feel drained, where we feel betrayed. I'm not saying that's going to happen this month, because the Ten of Swords, the other thing with this, the Ten of Swords, we don't just leap to the Ten of Swords. We don't just leap to the end of the line and just say, oh, I don't know how I got here. This is the result of a long process of figuring something out. And it's also an invitation to let it go, right? Because it wasn't serving you. It was actually damaging you. Every time one of those swords was put in, you're like, no, I'm doing the right thing. I'm figuring it out. I'm sticking it out. I said I wanted this, and now I can't change my mind about that. I can't change my stance. I need to keep wanting this. I can't let myself off the hook because I realized that I actually wanted to tweak this dream a little bit and make it a little bit different. It's just an invitation. It's just an idea, you guys. I think, like I said, it's like you can do this. You could feel a lot of release here, a lot of energetic release. Honestly, that's what I see because, seriously, you guys, all this energy is on your side to manifest what you really want. But there is an element of trust here in that moment of letting go. You are going to be in a bit of a vacuum where the next things haven't fully manifested yet, even though they're all around on the side of the stage. You haven't seen them yet. And there is a scary moment where it feels like you are held between two worlds and you don't know if you're actually going to land in the next storyline, the next course that you want to take. And I know that that can be really challenging. However, what is that next course, you guys? What is that next course? It is amazing energy. I'm going to show you all four of these cards again, and we'll talk through what's going on here because it's kind of wild, Virgo. Like, I'm looking at this energy and I'm realizing, wow, you guys are really being invited. Like, you have an invitation. And it's huge. It's big with just this caveat. You got to let this burden go because look at this Chariot, Strength, Ten of Wands, and the Lovers. Come on. Are you kidding me? Like, nobody gets this. I mean, this is the recipe for so much happiness and ease and contentment. It's like you guys have the recipe this month, and it's at your fingertips. And the caveat is that it's very simple. Like I said, this isn't a murder mystery. This isn't something you have to read and figure out the answers. This isn't something you have to torture yourself over. It's not done the hard way. It's done the easy way. What is that easy way? Here's a new opportunity, right? Here's your new road. Here's your new pathway. It's here mirroring what the magician is saying. You have a new road. You have a new manifestation. You have a new place of balance, of clarity of mind, of focus. I think that Cancer full moon is going to be extremely powerful for Virgo family. That 0-degree moon in opening up your 5th house season of Capricorn is so powerful because it's that invitation. I think this could really be a beautiful time for you to find that you are opening doors to connections, to relationships, to communities, to events, to things that you want. And they're going to be all around you during that last part of the year when the holidays are so vibrant and it's such an intense time. Some people have a hard time with that time of year, but I see this opening up. Yes, there's a Leo around, possibly. Leos like to show up in the Virgo vibes. And so there's fire energy here. There's warmth. There's that hearth energy, which I think Virgos, you guys need. I think there's been some tundra winds blowing through your lives in 2019. Or 2018, I think there have been some cold, harsh experiences for you. Maybe not all of them were super dramatic, but you felt them. And to have the strength energy there and to have the Chariot energy, there's a warmth and a consistency to this. There's an intensity to this. There's an intensity to the connectedness of this. Now, the strength card is also mirroring the wisdom of the moon and the high priestess. This wisdom that says you already know the truth. You don't have to put it all out there. You don't have to make it a point. You don't have to torture yourself about it. You don't have to investigate it. You don't have to hold it. You know, the strength card is the strength of this woman, of this energy, is that she's not unleashing the lion on everybody. She's saying, I have this lion here, and you know that I have this lion. You know that I have this value. You know that I have this wisdom. I don't need to set that upon anybody else. I don't need to set anybody else's course right. I don't need to set anybody else's opinion of me or their evaluation of me right. I am just doing my thing. Now, 10 of Wands again. Guys, 10 of Wands is such an isolating energy. And here's the thing. Sometimes when we're holding on to something, sometimes when we feel we need to figure it out, we need to play it out to the very end, we are slowly but surely imprisoning ourselves and feeling more and more isolated, more and more far away from the people we love. And like we can't connect anymore. I keep getting that sense with you guys. It's like you want to make things right for everything, all the time, everywhere, in every single aspect of your life. God, is that exhausting. And inherently in that kind of mentality, and believe me, I've ridden on this train a few times, so I understand. In that mentality, you're basically saying that the only way you can be loved, the only way you can be at peace is if you're constantly on your game. You're constantly making up for lost time or making up for something that you're not doing. And that is heavy, you guys. And I don't want you to do that anymore because look, if you let that go, if you let that mentality go, if you let that heaviness go, you are actually freeing yourself from a prison that you think is the land of freedom, but it's not. It's that gilded cage in some ways. But the Lovers is here at the end, you guys, and I can't say enough about the fact that what I see here is equilibrium. I think Virgos struggle with equilibrium in life because you have this energy that you can just get it done, whatever that is, to love somebody, to make things happen, to create something, to manifest something, to build that career, to get that job done, everything. You just take over and you make it happen. And somehow, slowly but steadily, you get into these positions where you realize like you are putting so much energy out all the time, and you're not taking that time instead to just like breathe and like honor yourself and honor your journey and like let other people step up to the plate with you so that there's equilibrium. And 2019, I have to tell you, this energy is teasing it a little bit, is this sense of equilibrium, is the sense that the people that are close to you, the people that you give that beautiful Virgo energy to, that wit, that humor, that warmth, that passion, that intelligence, bring just as much to you. Whatever they bring, they better be bringing something to that potluck. And if they're not, don't be pissed at them. Don't hold it against them. Don't hold yourself in the prison. Be like, cool. Don't worry about what their storylines are. You don't have to take every course in the book. You want to pick your course load carefully. It's like being in grad school. You only take, depending on your curriculum and what you have going on, you only take 2 or 3 classes a lot of times, right? You don't take 5 or 6 like you do in undergrad. You take the classes that mean something to you, and you spend that time really carefully going over the information. You don't spread yourself thin, and you don't take classes that are not going to serve you in a couple of years. I honestly think this month could be amazing, but you will be checking in with that resistance factor, with that self-imprisoning factor, and noticing maybe where you just don't want to release. So keep that in mind, my loves. But look, there is relationship here. There is romance here. You have your opposite sign of Pisces showing up. You have Leo showing up. You have Cancer energy showing up big time. I mean, actually double whammy there. But also we have that full moon in Cancer, and it's powerful. It's fomenting a new stage of energy, because while we had the Gemini full moon in November, that was like close out, this vibe right here, the Cancer full moon is like open up. And we need trust and faith to have both of those. So I'm going to leave it there, you guys. I hope this was helpful. I love you so much. And I have done year ahead forecasts for everybody. So I'm going to leave the Vimeo link below. Please go check it out. I do a whole discussion of the astrology aspects, the big transits, and what that does for the macro lens, and also some cards. I like to pull some cards to get an intuitive feel for everything. And the goal behind doing the year ahead forecast was to feel empowered in your 2019, feel that you're connected with the energy, feel that you can take it and ride forward into the sunset and just beautiful glory. And I think, Virgo, this is a year for you to do that. I love you so much. I'll also leave all my info to get in touch with me below as well, so check out the description box for all the goodies. I will see you in January for a new year of adventure and surprise. I think it's going to be a beautiful time.